Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome aboard the Audire Astra for another lore discussion stream. Didn't think we'd have one of these again for a while, but guess what? Yeah, right. Never rewatched them. Look, I'm not expecting any of you. I don't expect anybody else to have rewatched the trailer. Okay, let me back up. Honkai Star Rail dropped a new trailer. The Myriad Celestia. There's a lot, okay? It's very big implications for lots of things, so a lot to unpack. The first time I watched it, I had no clue what the fuck was going on. I assume that is the experience of most people, because it is very confusing. It's cool, very confusing, hard to make sense of anything, so I watched it about a dozen times, because I know it may be confusing, but that's just because you don't have enough context to understand it. Everything in these trailers makes sense, and some of the things in it you don't necessarily have enough context for at the time, and only become apparent later. So I watched it a dozen times, so you guys don't have to. I'm not going to talk about it today. Celestia? Oh, but what? Oh, Mirror. Don't think tensions about it in this one. You might watch that 5 times. Oh, wow, we got some others appreciating it. Also, I just love the way Hollywood does their trailers. They're just so good at the way they do trailers. Like I can't really explain but like, I mean, I've seen trailers for other games, obviously, like cinematics and all that, and these just don't hit as good. Like, people talk about like Bua or whatever, all these, the other games, is like their trailers never hit as hard, in my opinion. But anyways, let's see. I gotta refresh my chat because YouTube is glitching out on me. Favorite part is the Pentacone bit. Okay, sorry. So let me swap to the gameplay screen. We're gonna be using the old overlay again today. To be fair, Audire, you do also have the bias of being a decade-long Honkai girly. I am, but specifically it's because of how good they are that I have become a decade-long Honkai girly, because they keep delivering. Like, I have dropped many a franchise that I had been a long-time fan of when they stopped being good. I am not someone who, like, I don't really sunk cost fallacy that hard. It's like, when something stops being good, I drop it. You know this, Tommy. You should know this. Anyways. Well, let's get going. And yet you still play League. League is better now than it used to be, honestly. League used to be much, much worse. But okay, well, I'm not gonna talk about the monetization. The $500 skins, whatever. I'm not gonna buy them. I don't care about the $500 skins. I'm never gonna buy them. I've stopped buying. I've stopped spending money on League. Even after reinstalling it, I've spent 0 money on it after I got back into it. Alex, your camera's even getting cuter and prettier than you. You mean the thumbnail? Thank you, Alex. It's because I commissioned all this art. And now I have art to use for thumbnails. The implication of people in the dream just start enjoying it and suddenly get killed by the robots. We'll get into that. Anyways, first I'm gonna play the trailer once, just for the people who haven't seen it, and then we're gonna go through it slowly. I'm gonna talk about everything.
The last time I was on the tour.
Oh wait,
centuries ago.
First I'm gonna watch it without subtitles.
But you now come not as a hero, but a prisoner. Put the abundance in their grave, empty talk.
The divination matrix will naturally determine whether your words are trustworthy.
Fine. As we always say on the Cienjo, seeing is believing.
I like how the blindfold just
War
disintegrates.
gods has already begun in the Abacus's calculated future. The Lord Ravager's wish will be fulfilled, and an eon will fall. This is a chess game between gods. As each piece falls to counter the next, why not take advantage of it for our own goals? The Alliance already
poor
has
robot.
the Swarm Author's remains to kill a god. We just need to temper the Hunt's arrowheads with Ruin's golden blood.
Call it. That was Herta Space Station, Tommy. But yes, it gets colony dropped.
A colleague told me that the Cienjo Alliance is not our enemy. So why not join this great feast? And observe how billions of beating hearts walk into
Billions of beating hearts. That's a pretty signature line.
Death
I'll
is
talk
not a
about that
process,
next.
but the outcome.
Next time.
Let the ignorant hunter
There's
raise
Fantalia,
their bow
our old
and
friend.
kill what they love, what they believe in, and ultimately kill themselves.
So, what's the point in this process? Just for it to feel like a ceremony? Well, it's not
The
like
symbolism
I
of
have
the
a right to complain
ring
about
seems to be
ceremonies.
like the empty ring seems to be
I
Nanook's
mourn for
recurring
worlds that can no
motif. I think
longer
the
last.
symbolism, especially with the thing dripping
you
down
still
on it, we'll
remember
see a
what
better
happened?
picture of it later.
I saw a spot
Back her
of
on.
light. The
Our
dimness
old friend. This is what she's been up to.
existence itself was torn, leaving only a despairing white, enveloping both
We got the white hole.
entropy
This shot I know
and
was
time.
leaked a while ago, but we didn't have any context for it. I just love this shot. It's just cool. This is just a cool cinematography. Oh, there's like Nanook's symbol.
We salute thee, blemished one.
This is a cool shot. I know what movie is inspired that. Actually, I don't know. I know it's from a movie. Like that shot with like, you see the foot coming down with like the tar dripping down. It's like, it's there's a some movie, but that character was Satan, and we clearly were inspired by that for Fantalia.
Their yearning is the same.
Because in that movie, like Satan is like a guy dressed in white, except he has like black tar dripping from his feet.
Witness? That feels like formalism.
Of course, we have
Even if every
Mr.
genius in the
D20 for
cosmos
head.
dropped dead, what's that got to do with us?
Still not enough for you? The fools will only
Is Nanook's
flounder
blood
in
related to the
tears
Chrysos
after
hairs?
the wise have been
I'm glad you
buried.
noticed that, Cole. Golden blood.
The sun has risen from the end of time.
The sun, clearly talking about our boy
When
Finon.
Iron Team finally breaks its ship, the erudition's calculations will meet the end.
That giant
Who could
robot.
say that Akavili on a new journey won't bring another salvation?
Trailblazing always ends up igniting something, no? Then, they'll achieve an even
Gotta get all the Lord Ravagers in.
ruin.
Prisoner who picked up
Also-
Starfire. If you are to become the first spark,
Wait, I'm gonna wait for this to finish.
leave the cave with me, and in that fable about the stars, we'll pen the prelude of destruction.
Oh, look, there's his real face. Something about Lidus's voice acting in this one is just really good. Like, it sounds so epic. Like, the voice actor did a great job there. This ending makes me feel like Finance about to do something really, really bad. Yeah. The name of the next patch is called "For the Sun is Set to Die." Like, it's clearly not gonna be a... We're in the Act 2 falling... I forget what it's called, but it's like it's a thing in, like, in Act 2, you hit your lowest point, the despair point. I think we're about to hit our Act 2 despair point. Hello, God Emperor, welcome aboard. It is here today. Finer has a tattoo of sorts around her neck, sort of like fugue too. She got after surviving Pintilly. I haven't noticed that. Alright, so now we're gonna... Okay, I want to go through it slowly. I want to talk through it a little bit. Alright, so this one, straightforward. Last time we saw Jingyu, she was being taken to the Shanzhou Yutre to stand trial along with Luocha. We don't know where Luocha is doing all this, but apparently the reveal back in that arc was that Luocha's coffin was carrying fragments of Tazrianith, the Aeon of Propagation. Oh.
Was centuries ago.
Why should I should probably have, like, background music for this part, so now that I'm just talking. I don't have... Do I have my background music on the screen? Here we go. You don't remember this one? It has been a while. I mean, the body of propagation. Yes, he had, like, a fragment of Kazrian's corpse in there. The remaining concepts that were sealed away in amber.
Pity.
Oh yeah, the subtitles.
But you
So yes,
come
now
as a hero,
she's being
but a
interrogated
prisoner.
by the Shanzhou, much as the same way they interrogated Kafka last time, by using their giant divination computer, but
Of
just
the
basically just
abundance in
reading
their
her mind.
grave, empty talk.
The divination matrix will naturally determine whether your
And
words
that
are
last time their
trustworthy.
plan was to essentially, they thought they could use the
As we always say on the
Tazrianos remains to
Cianzhou,
kill
seeing is believing.
uh
A war
God, I forgot her name. What's the Aeon of Abundance? Oh, mind blanking on her name. Yaoshi, that was her name.
of gods has all
So this is all being... So this first half is like being like viewed through her eyes.
believing.
This is like this is all related to the prophecy. So interestingly, we notice here there are so this is obviously God, I'm blanking on so many names today. The creation engine from Bellabog. You may not know this, there are multiple. So this is like in the foreground. This is one's giant foot. This is another giant foot. But there's another one. There's like I think there's like at least 4 of them. This may be like a fifth one, even. Which is odd because as far as we know, they only have one, and don't know where the other ones came from.
War of gods has already begun. In the act.
But looking at it more closely, it looks like a different style from the creation engine that we fought. So it's like obviously it's like the same type of robot, but like I don't know if it's just because of the art style or if it's actually meant to be like a different robot. It's just a little different. I don't know if that's actually significant.
Because his calculated future.
Oh, hello, Jed. Welcome aboard. Oh, I had to point out we got Vanya, Natasha, and Seal there in the foreground. Yes, I'm still calling her Seal. I refuse to call her Zila.
Abacus's calculated future.
Oh, whoops, I'm frozen. So, the common thread with this prophecy, essentially, the last Star Rail Archon quest, not the Archon, what the fuck am I saying? Story quest ended with the revelation that Amphorius is a Emperor's scepter, and I explained back then, one of the prime weapons of the Emperor, Rupert, was the anti-organic equation, which is essentially turns all mechanical technology and machines and makes it just want to kill humans all the time. That's very similar to what is happening here. However, it's worth noting that one of the Lord Ravagers, so the Lord Ravagers are the emanators of NUKE. So one of the Lord Ravagers, who goes by Iron Tomb, their MO seems to be he seems to be able to turn technology against his donors, which is a very similar modus operandi to the anti-organic equation. And so they may be related, especially coming up with some stuff we'll find out later in the trailer. I'm thinking that maybe what Iron Tomb, his method of attack, may be itself like a form of weaponized anti-organic equation. The corruption is like the Black Tide, is not. It does look very similar. Yes. He also knows. And I do believe that will be of significance, or that is of significance, that this looks very similar to the Black Tide. So basically, what seems to be Jingu is essentially prophesizing here is that Iron Tomb will become successful. He will be able to spread, whether it's the anti-organic equation or his own magical super virus. It's going to spread throughout the entire universe. That even so, all the places that we've been, all the technology will suddenly turn against the owners. You know, things are gonna fall right out of the sky. We have Gwynethyn and Bailu here in the foreground.
And an eon.
Even the IPC will not be in. The IPC being like one of the most powerful factions in the universe. But this one seems to be demonstrate. You have Topaz here in the front. This seems to demonstrate their headquarters is a pure point. This seems to demonstrate that their homeworld is essentially their headquarters is also falling prey to this virus. It's spreading throughout all their planets and systems. Penacony also not immune. The technology.
Is a chess game.
I don't know. I mean, it's probably kill everyone in the dream. Who knows?
As each piece falls to counter.
It hurt a space station also explodes.
Why not take advantage of it for our own goals?
Gene saying that is remarkably asshole-ish, which, you know, like she's kind of like insane. Like explicitly she's insane. So maybe that's not a surprise, but like she's not even saying, she's like, she wanted to suggest the idea, oh maybe we should like stop all this that's going to happen. No, it's like, no, we should let it all happen, but we'll just like use it for our own goals. So the goal of the Shanzhou in general is to kill Yaoshi and everything she creates. And the Star Killer reference? I don't think that's a Star Killer reference though.
The Alliance already has the...
So, yes. So, Iron Tomb's goal... So, each Lord Ravager is paired with another path that the are supposed to destroy. Iron Tomb is apparently... His target is erudition. And his goal is to kill Noose and the Genius Society. And so, notably, it seems that each Lord Ravager is created from a former follower of another path. And then that path becomes their target for destruction.
Swarm author's remains to kill a god. We just need to...
Now this presumably is Iron Tomb, is what... Actually no, we don't have to presume. We know that this is Iron Tomb, and I am going to point out something quite noticeable about his design. So he has 4 arms. He has 2 big arms and 2 smaller arms. Who else do we know who has 2 big arms and 2 smaller arms? Is that why that one Ravager said the Shanzou aren't necessarily the enemy because they both want to kill the... Yeah, so they want to kill different Aeons. Yes, so the thing is... Yeah, so the Hunt wants to kill Yaoshi, however, the Destruction wants to kill all the other paths and gods. So, like, the Hunt isn't... The Shinzo aren't necessarily actively after the Antimatter Legion, but seems like very probable we will come into conflict sooner or later.
Are the Hunt's arrowheads with ruins golden blood?
Okay, so at this point, the prophecy is... We're done with the prophecy for now. That was all like Jingliu's mental image of future events. Now as we're going to stuff that's actually happening. So this is... We're swapping... So this is why there's a few things. If you didn't watch it with subtitles, there's things, notably, that are in the subtitles that aren't in the dialogue. This is the first one. So for some reason, Fei Xiao and Jiao Cho aren't voiced here. So this takes place in this Cinerino Star Cluster. I don't know how you pronounce that. Anyways, this takes place in the Star Cluster. We last heard from this Star Cluster that basically Celanova was invading it, and that the Fei Xiao has taken her fleet. And she is helping... There's 6 star systems in this cluster that have united to try and fight her off, and it seems that Xianzhou, or Fei Xiao, is trying to help them. Here she notes that Celanova's legions are retreating. Is this a trap? And Jiao Cho says maybe she's carrying out an even more important order. And that's where we find out... So, what's happening in for the rest of the trailer, this depicts the Lord Ravagers are all being called by the NUKE for a reason. That reason being that another Lord Ravager is about to be released from prison, essentially.
It's not our enemy.
So this is Celanova. This is our first shot of Celanova. We know a bit about her. There's a book on the Shanzou Luofu that you can find talking about their list of arch enemies, and Celanova is noted to be NUKE's most prominent frontline general. She is like the main coordinator of all his fleets and armies, and she has like the supernatural ability whenever she's in command, everything in the fleet and armies, they all move as one single unit. Because her target is harmony, she was created from someone presumably who's strong in harmony, so she brings that to her the way she fights. And one other thing to note is she apparently, rumor has it that she is the one who knows about Stellarons the most.
So why not join this great
And maybe
feast
responsible for the Stellarons.
and observe how
I kind of doubt that
billions
last
of
bit.
beating hearts
Okay, billions of beating hearts. Mentioned this before. I called attention to it earlier, but billions of beating hearts is the line used in the previous Myriad Celestia trailer by Shipe, the Aeon of Harmony. So that seems to be... So billions of beating hearts beating in sync seems to be Shipe's thing. Also, you do get a nice little shot of what are apparently the Antimatter Legion's ships. Look a bit... Oh, they look a bit like whale-like to me, but... The Ravagers utilize the path here. Yeah, so each of them seems to be like created from the... I don't think they utilize the path. Like, they can't utilize the path they're trying to destroy because they're all followers of the destruction and they have, they no longer follow their previous path. But they like retain some of that motifs and maybe some powers that were related to their old path. you can have powers from multiple paths at the same time, as we know from Vantilia. But their main path is definitely destruction, just they also have like a secondary path going on. So this part's interesting to me. This is the first time we see like the golden ring symbol. I wonder if this is what the Antimatter Legion's like form of interdimensional intergalactic travel is. This is their, they just like create these portals and then you go through them.
Indeed, death is not a process, but the outcome.
And then we see what Vantilia is up to. It was established that Vantilia likes to infiltrate societies and turn them against themselves. That's her MO.
Kill themselves.
So this guy is new. This guy we have not been told anything about previously. And his name, if I can swap to my other tab. So this is something, this is a page that just dropped earlier today, which talks about all the Lord Ravagers. This, and we'll go into this after we finish the show. This guy's name is Asap Ramad. So this is the guy with the D20 for a head.
What's the point?
And he was a former follower of Elation, which is why he later talks about mourning for worlds that can no longer last.
I mourn for
This thing kind of really reminds, it probably has no relation, it kind of reminds me of the big sword Acheron had in her backstory. Probably has no relation. Also kind of reminds me of the gate in the Elden Ring DLC.
worlds that can no longer laugh.
Do you still remember?
Okay. You. Again, this is like some world or other he destroyed. I don't have a whole lot of context for this one yet. But, so, don't have too much to comment about that, just explaining who he is. So this is Acheron, and this is another reason why we need the subtitles turned on, because if you don't have subtitles turned on, you have no idea who she's talking to here. You might even presume that she's talking to like the previous guy. But no, she's talking to a Sin Thirster. She's so when the Sin Thirsters are born, they're basically like ghosts. Like, they're dead people. So she's talking to someone who died and probably just asking him, oh, how did you die? What killed you?
Still remember what happened?
I saw a spot of light.
And so this is Zephyros. This is another one of the Lord Ravagers that we already knew the name of. And he was described as being a one-man army. He's probably, like, in terms of personal combat power, he seems to be the strongest of the Lord Ravagers. And here, again, so this is kind of funny. Rather than taking a portal like the other Lord Ravagers, Zephyros seems to just be, like, flying through space. And he's just deliberately trying to, like, crash into as many planets as possible while on his way.
In the star.
I don't know why all those planets were freaking lined up like that or whatever. So he's like, nah, I don't need FTL, I am the FTL.
Then existence itself was torn, leaving only a despairing white.
And Zephyros is the anti-nihility, so seems Acheron has finally met her match. And so he's basically, Nihility's aesthetic is obviously like black and red. So Zephyros seems to be like black and white with mostly white, because I guess he's the anti-nihility. He makes white holes instead of black holes.
Enveloping both entropy and time.
It's a cool idea, at least. Like, you can, like, his goal is to destroy nothing. He wants to destroy nothingness. Must be tough. And so this is like, this seems to essentially be like NUKE's symbol, just the ring with golden blood dripping from it.
We salute thee, blemished one. In defiance of the cosmic roots that bind all, we offer a magnificent ruin.
Like, screw nothing, I always wanted there to be something. I don't think it's like that. I think he's like, he wants to destroy everything and like nothing. He wants to destroy everything so badly that even nothing is too much of everything. He's like, I want there to be less than nothing.
Together, beneath your gaze, we bear witness to a colleague's end.
Interesting. I guess Salanova seems to be particularly associated with the Doomsday Beast. They keep showing up every time she's there.
Be it coronation or collapse, the end of their yearning is the same.
I don't know what the significance of her eyes being hidden by this ring is all the time. I don't know. Okay, so this is another Lord Ravager. He gets like, this one has no lines, but some kind of giant robot. He appears to have like suns inside of him. And so this guy, if we go back to the other tab, let me get his name. His name is Archforger. So this guy, he is, despite, you know, being a giant fucking robot, apparently a robot large enough to have suns inside of him. He doesn't actually fight. He's a non-combatant. He sits in the back and he is responsible for the Warforged. He makes the Antimatter legions. He transforms people into Void Rangers. He also, apparently, he also has the ability to convert things into antimatter, because apparently one time he blew up a planet by, like, turning half of it into antimatter. But yes, he's apparently a very big robot.
Just to witness? That feels like formalism.
Also, Assat, he's very, spicy, like, he's very grumbly throughout all of this. Like, he does not like being called to do whatever NUKE is wanting him to do.
What's that?
Yeah, antimatter does freak out. Yeah. And it explodes violently.
Still not enough for you? The fools will
But this is another one. So when I watched this trailer the first time, I thought this was just Trantilia. But turns out, because Trantilia is like kind of like, you know, formless. Turns out this is another Lord Ravager. This is called Luxbane, the Sun Devourer.
Cease your chatter. The sun has risen from the end
So this line.
of time.
So again, he's talking about the sun has risen. Obviously talking about our boy Finon, who has been repeatedly referred to as using like the sun metaphor, especially the rising sun. This one surprised me because, you know, Zephyros is kind of like a dude. He seems like the dude who wouldn't care about very much. You know, not only is he like a former nihilist, a self-annihilator. Is there a name for the genre? Just everyone is absurdly skilled and all-powerful? Not everybody, Tommy. Like fucking Jinchu is out here just like throwing mahjong pieces at people. Not everybody is absurdly skilled and all-powerful. Yeah, so Zephyros is like, he seems to have a lot of respect for Finon. Like, the sun has risen.
When I am
So this is things, so we're getting all of, this is like the shot of all of the Lord Ravagers. So first start with Luxbane, Fantilia.
Calculations will meet the end.
Well, not all of them. There's Archforger,
But who could say that Akavili on a new
Asa.
journey won't bring another salvation?
So this line is basically talking about, just going back to the beginning, what the plan. So Iron Tomb's plan is to destroy Noose. So it's something, Iron Tomb, somehow or other, Amphorius is going to be used to destroy Noose, is the intent. But then Asset brings up the possibility that, well, essentially, the Trailblazer might be able to intervene in this plan and stop it. And that's an interesting thing to note, because Jingliu was basically claiming that this will happen. Like, Iron Tomb will succeed. It is like set in stone already. But then you have one of the other Lord Ravagers saying, maybe the Trailblaze can stop it. And so this like there's an idea here that maybe like trailblazing is as a path has the power to like actually change destiny. Like it can change events that are already predetermined to exist. This kind of like goes against what has been previously established in lore, which is that like if Noose calculates something, it's set in stone, it can't be changed. But Trailblaze didn't exist back then, I don't think. Like I think it's one of the relatively newer paths. Akabili is the guy who knew that. Yeah, Akabili is the Aeon, the Trailblaze. So when we say Akabili here, Akabili is, as far as we know, dead. So they're referring to us, like the Trailblazer in our mission, Amphorius. And he's basically suggesting, yes, we could, in fact, save the world. That's on the table. It's not set in stone that we will fail and Iron Tomb will succeed. Is Noose just sitting there being like, guess I'll die then? So, yeah, I did think about that. So I think there are several possibilities. One is that Noose has already calculated that it's going to be fine. It doesn't need to do anything, that we all will succeed. And so he's just like, yeah, I know the future, I lived through this, it's no problem. But the second possibility, Noose doesn't care if he dies. Like, Noose is a computer who's only seen to be calculated. Like, thing to remember with the Aeons in general is that they are embodiment of a path to such an extent. They don't really have any, like, sense of self or being beyond that anymore. And they will continue with their path, even if it leads to their own inevitable demise. The most obvious of this is being Tazranith, who just, because he's the Aeon of propagation. Propagation is what he does, so he just reproduced so much that the entire universe, all the other gods got together to beat his ass and killed him. But because of their nature, Aeons can't do anything except be what they are. And so, like, essentially, they may not have any sense of self-preservation. I guess, unless you are Cliffoff, who is, in fact, the embodiment of preservation. That's probably why he's, like, the oldest Aeon still alive that we know of. Because he's the only one with a sense of self-preservation. Anyway, that's another possibility. And the third is, like, maybe somehow Iron Tomb is managed to evade Noose's calculations, that Noose is actually not going to see this coming. I find that unlikely given what we know about Noose. It's supposed to, like, know literally everything. And it was noted that when in the simulated universe, the Noose in the simulated universe has itself perfectly simulated the simulators. It has meta knowledge of what exists outside the simulation it exists in, and that knowledge is, as far as Herda can tell, perfect. So Noose is, like, pretty good at knowing things. I very much doubt Noose is just unaware of the impending attack. Does Noose know it's in the video game? Presumably, yes.
Won't bring another salvation.
Trailblazing always ends up igniting something, no? Then, they'll achieve an even more majestic ruin.
Behold, NUKE, the only Aeon to have more than one art of him. If every single Aeon just has one PNG, NUKE is the only Aeon to have. Not only does he have a PNG, it even moves. Behold, truly, the greatest Aeon of them all. Anyways, so that part, Selma was just basically saying, even if we succeed in Amphorius, even if we manage to stop the evil plan, we'll just set in forth motion the setup for an even greater disaster later on. So they're pretty confident. They're pretty happy. So it's interesting because like NUKE is gathering all of his Lord Ravagers to witness like the release of their colleague, as Zellanova keeps calling him. Most of them don't seem to care. Zephyros is the only one who actually seems to respect the situation at all, which I don't know if that's whether because Zephyros actually personally likes Finon, or he is just so devoted to NUKE that he alone will just yes, whatever you say, Lord NUKE, I'm here to witness whatever it is that you want to witness. Is the one getting released Finon or Iron Tomb? It's definitely Finon. So because Iron Tomb is known to the universe. Whoever is sealed in Amphorius is not known to the universe. But also because, I mean, there's several points of evidence for this. Zephyros says the sun has risen from the end of time. So the sun again refers to Finon. We've repeatedly heard him referred to as the sun. And then, but also from the end of time, I'm guessing this refers to this Amphorius entering the end of its cycles. Like it has been calculating this samsara for a long ass time, and it's finally coming to the end. So that's what I'm thinking. What the end of time means. What path is Finon against? Remembrance. Because remember, Amphorius is all about memory. It's all about experiencing memory. So if Finon as a Lord Ravager, the path he targets would presumably be remembrance, and his target would be Fuli.
Prisoner.
Again, this line helps confirm it's Lygus. He calls Finon the prisoner. So if Finon is the prisoner, obviously Lygus can't be the prisoner.
Picked up Starfire. If you are to become the first spark, then come and leave the cave with me. And in that fable about the stars, we'll pen the prelude of destruction.
So based on the trailer alone, you can guess that Lygus is probably Iron Tomb, but it's not like 100%. Like the main thing, like if we compare this to this, like honestly, there's not that much resemblance. Like you can't really say there's like a whole lot of, like yeah, that's definitely the same guy. Like the only thing that we can really say is that like he's got 4 arms, and then he's got like that ring around his head maybe. But the new lore page about the dropped on their website earlier today, just mere 14 hours ago, which all the people, because of this, all the people who dropped their trailer analysis videos yesterday lack this additional context, which is why you should be watching my stream and not, lore videos from other people. Okay, now we can finally go through this. So, Galactic Archives, Destruction and Lord Ravagers. The prisoner is about to grasp the celestial flames as cosmic fables echo from beyond the cave. The fate of Amphorius, it lies exposed before the gaze of the NUKE and their assembly of Lord Ravagers. The displacement and desolation caused by the Lord Ravagers, enforcers of the will of destruction, are not some distant wail, but are closely linked to the fate of the cosmos. Any world could be the next victim, and nobody should take them lightly. So was the point of Amphorius a simulation to eventually create Phynon, a repeating cycle using NUKE's blood to create the next Ravager? I don't think it was to create Phynon. I think it was to imprison Phynon, because every time we've heard of him, he's like a prisoner. And I think Phynon probably was already born as a Lord Ravager, but through the power of Amphorius and remembrance, he's been like sealed in his past. He doesn't remember, because of this repeating cycle, he doesn't remember that he's a Lord Ravager. Destruction. There is a core flame in the center of the universe. It burns brighter and brighter until it consumes the entire sea of stars, all to welcome a magnificent oblivion at the end of all realities. So, this associates NUKE with the concept of core flames. Core flames being, of course, what we've spent the entire Amphorius arc chasing. That's why they call it the Flame Chase Journey. And now, so, very definitely, Chrysos hairs, this basically confirms Chrysos hairs are associated with the NUKE and destruction. And these are the Lord Ravagers, the Aeon, the NUKE, who walks the path of destruction, glimpses at the powerful creatures in different worlds, develop the urge to destroy, and brands them with their mark that gives them power. Blah blah blah. This doesn't, some claim they are anti-blah blah blah. In the end, when all returns to entropy, destruction will terminate together with the cosmos. Okay, nothing really new there. But still the coolest joke of all, witness the most absurd annihilation. Asat Pramad, Dicehead. Asat Pramad is the most human of the overlords, so he prefers to orchestrate from afar, more chessmaster than warlord. Balls that fall under his gaze are consumed by waves of slow, cruel jokes. Over a century, Asat Pramad advances void ranges inch by inch just to force the military line of the resistance into the shape of a single line of text. Destruction is where laughter ends, it is mourning, not celebration. Known as Destroyer of Elation, Asat Pramad embraces the title. When his work is done, he scorches a giant smiling face into the surface of every dead planet as if to mock the very idea of life. Okay, yeah. Honestly, not the most intimidating dude. If you think about it, the Flame Chase Journey mirrors the Ravagers post on the quest to kill gods. Yeah. I think that is a resemblance. So here is Zephyro, Savage White Flame, pierced with the deepest darkness. So, again, established, he is the strongest one. He is the anti-nihility. We believe he is a self-annihilator summoned by Ix, refining fading colors into blinding white light to defy the shadow of the Aeon. His devastation has been known to bleed into the dreams of nihility pathstriders, leaving searing marks on their waking flesh. One self-annihilator once described a nightmare at the end of all things, with nothing left to destroy. A Lord Ravager hurled himself into Ix's divine corpus, followed by a single violent beam of white that pierced the endless dark. Here is Selenova. When some desperate civilizations cry out for salvation, these requests are heard by the family, but it may be Selenova who answers. And her descent brings ruin to enemy and supplicant alike. Unlike her mysterious peers, Selenova's origin is known. NUKE personally ignited a world of harmony and elevated her from the ashes of the Imperial Centurion. So yeah, so Selenova is definitely going to be one of the more significant characters. We're probably gonna have, she's gonna be a recurring encounter. Yeah, one thing to note with the Lord Ravagers in general is that they defy the usual Hoyoverse character design theme of having lots of detail. Because like Selenova is pretty much just dressed in like white and blue and not a lot of small details. Again, Zephyro likewise. Like they're very plain for Hoyoverse characters. Sun Devourer, the Piece of Light, extinguished 10,000 stars. Luxbane, called the Sun Devourer Giant. Luxbane is credited with countless stellar extinction events. A shape so vast. So this is like the giant. Is a giant cloud with an eye that eats suns. And no one knows anything about. No one really knows anything about it. But I can see why the Aeons aren't doing anything. Why haven't all the factions united to fight the Ravagers, considering the existential threat you represent? Oh, everybody has got their own shit to deal with, essentially. Like, Selenova seems to be like the most well-known. Everybody, like, it seems, because the way Star Rail is presenting it is basically like, the universe is big. It's really, really big. Entire galaxies being destroyed is like a relatively common occurrence. And so there's just like a lot going on. And yeah, these guys are like trying to destroy everything, but you know, there's lots of people trying to destroy everything out there, and these seemingly apparently have not risen in the universal consciousness to the point of being a threat to where everybody has to unite against them. And also, but also like, all these factions have beef with each other. Like the IPC has, so the IPC and the Shenzhou are the two like most powerful organizations that we know of. There's like the IPC, the Shenzhou, the family seems to be like the three main big universal factions. They all have beef with each other because like, well, I mean, they're all follow fundamentally different philosophies of existence. To the point where it's like they've literally been granted by God for following that philosophy. So yeah, it's a hard thing to unite. The family goes, oh yes, the family is like a universal organization. It's not just Penacony. The family is like the chief organization of of Harmony in general. Yeah, they're not just limited to Penacony. Penacony is only one of many, many worlds that the family controls. And notably, one thing to note with the family, if you remember the Sunday boss fight, that like giant doll thing that he summoned, so Harmony seems to be unique in that Shipe has no emanators. Instead of having like emanators who are people, her emanators are like these constructs that her followers can summon and control, which is what Sunday did during that boss fight. So the thing he summoned was the emanator. Sunday himself was not an emanator. Anyways, we know nothing about Luxbane. We'll find, I'm sure we'll learn more later. Archforger, yes, the big honking mech. This is like, I don't know. He's like somewhere, he's like, he's kind of like Gurren Lagann scale mech, kind of that kind of sort of thing. Big robot. He seems, so this paragraph is what confirms, I think, Lygus is Iron Tomb. So for years, Archforger remained a total mystery despite years of investigation by the cosmic powers. Only recently did the IPC, thanks to two society members observing Amphorius, decode their name, Archforger, from the gravitational waves of Iron Tomb. This is clearly talking about what is happening on Amphorius right now. So the two society members, Herda and Skrulum, they've been observing Amphorius, and they decoded this name Archforger from a message being sent by Iron Tomb, which can only mean that Iron Tomb is on Amphorius, and therefore Lygus must be Iron Tomb. So this paragraph, I think, is what confirms that, at least for me, this is essentially all but explicitly stating that Lygus is Iron Tomb. You wanna know what it's like to be turned into an antimatter entity? I mean, in real life antimatter, you'd be fine. You just feel like your normal self. Antimatter behaves just like regular matter, except that, you know, the charges are reversed. You would just be normal. Like, you wouldn't notice anything different until you touched matter. If you touch something made of matter, then you'd both, like, violently explode. And if you don't touch anything, you could be like a person living on an antimatter planet, an antimatter person living on an antimatter planet, and as long as no matter ever makes contact with your planet, you'd never know. Yeah, but anyways, this is what confirms that Lygus is Iron Tomb. Void Rangers often exhibit twisted forms. Some destruction creations implode with an intense backfire when destroyed, dragging their enemies along with them to their destruction. It's believed Archforger is the architect of the Legion. Their power is linked to heat, forging, and shaping, possibly connected to the path of preservation. In the furnace of war, there is no line between the smith and the smithed. Since their ascension, this Lord Ravager no longer destroys directly, but instead forges all things into weapons of extinction. The IPC has strongly condemned this. They sent him a strongly worded letter. Please stop. Vantilia. Oh yeah, this is just like a small bit of lore, but a member of the ancient shapeless species, the Heliobi. So, people have been speculating that Vantilia is a Heliobus since the Heliobus were revealed as a concept, so, you know, since Hulk was released. And that was just because, like, Vantilia's true form is like kind of like a blue-green flame, formless flame, and she like possesses people and all, and that's exactly what the Heliobi do. All that speculation was not for naught, because this is confirmed she is indeed a Heliobus. To her, material extinction is not the end. Only when all things vanish, mentally and spiritually, can true annihilation be achieved. She's said to possess thousands of incarnations, spreading across the cosmos in countless forms. Through lies, illusion, and manipulation, she fans the flames of blind vengeance. What sin do you relish most? Wrath. Recent anomalies in the Shanzhou, Luofu, and Yaoqing may be signs that her schemes are escalating. Just how deep her influence runs is still unknown. Does she still have that body we made, or should we break it? Now we broke that. This is presumably like her mental self-image as opposed to her physical form, which is just, you know, flames. Lord Ravage Iron Tomb. Yes, unlike other Lord Ravager's Iron Tomb's invasions, require no physical presence, leaving behind almost no eyewitnesses. Its presence is inferred in the ruins of devastated civilizations. Technology turns into viruses, worlds plunge into darkness, and everything deemed advanced becomes a cold grave. It only appears in highly developed worlds. Some Intellitron theorists believe Iron Tomb is the inverse of the erudition, a reversal of all calculations and logic. Its destruction resembles a phenomenon more than aesthetics, a corruption and subversion of inorganic logic, a collapse of all intelligent behavior. And this really... So, the MO greatly resembles the anti-organic equation, which, given especially that Iron Tomb is like involved with like an Emperor scepter that is Amphorus, suggests like maybe Iron Tomb is like a manifestation of like Rupert 3. But at the same time, the caveat I have with that, because the Rupert 3 and the anti-organic equation weren't just like mindlessly destroying, they wanted to create inorganic life. They wanted to create inorganic civilizations. And so while the anti-organic equation turns like robots and machines against organics, it seems whatever Iron Tomb does also causes the collapse of technology itself. Like the machines themselves, intelligent machines cease to be intelligent in his presence or with his abilities. And so that seems to... So I'm not sure... It's hard to say. I think it could go either way, whether or not Iron Tomb is connected to Looper and the anti-organic equation, or if he's like a separate manifestation of some other phenomenon that simply seems to have like similar corruptive effects on technology. But also, this does answer a question that I had of like, why Lygus was like so confident. I get when he meeting Herta, he was like, I can assure you we will mutually destroy each other. And I'm like, and I was like, really? Like, yeah, you basked in the gaze of the erudition, but like, you're an emanator, or she's an emanator and you're not. And generally speaking, non-emanators don't match up very well against emanators in Honkai Star Rail, with a few exceptions. So like, are you really sure you want to do this fight? This, helpfully, if he is a Lord Ravager, that explains why he's so confident, because like, okay, yeah, they're both emanators. Maybe Iron Tomb is a devolution of Rupert. Oh, not direct, because we know Rupert 1 and 2 died. So like, I think it's the relationship is probably more complicated than that. Like, it may be like some fragment of the anti-organic equation survived and like corrupted the machine, and then wanted it, and then the NUKE noticed this machine and elevated it. But Iron Tomb definitely, see, he's definitely like, Lycus is very like obviously evil, like from the beginning, right? Every time he talks, you're just like, oh, this guy is so fucking evil. Maybe it's the anti-organic equation itself. No, the anti-organic equation is more like, it's more like a phenomenon than a person. Like, it's a virus, it can infect both machines and organics and living things. Like, yeah, like, Lycus is obviously evil, but he talks in like also like in a very intellectual way, and it doesn't seem like the kind of like mindlessness I would expect out of like something that's been infected by the anti-organic equation, but who really knows? The prospect, but a Lord Ravager having control by Emperor's scepters is like a pretty terrifying idea. Definitely, because and Emperor's scepters like easily destroy. A scepter can like easily destroy stars. As a group of scepters working together can easily destroy galaxies. So that's like a pretty terrifying prospect for the universe at large. Which, whatever Lycus's plan is, we still don't know a lot about what exact. We know his plan involves Amphorius and which is a scepter. We know it involves Phynon. How exactly he's going to use these to destroy Noose, like, that part is completely up in the air. I have no idea. And also, when Amphorius started, I did that whole thing where I explained like my predictions about like what I thought was going to happen, and a lot of it is still on the table, but I would say like 90% of what I predicted is still on the table. But I really was not expecting Amphorius to be so involved in the larger story. Like, each planet up until now has been like pretty self-contained in terms of story. Amphorius seems to be like where they're starting with like the bigger story, the overarching story of Honkai Star Rail being the battle against the NUKE. And because ever since Kafka told us that our destiny was to confront and destroy the NUKE, and the purpose of the Stellaron Hunters was to make sure we were going to win that fight. And so I was really not expecting Amphorius, with its being like the self-contained planet with like no connection to the rest of the universe. This is where we're going to be like really expanding upon the destruction. Can't wait to see what takes Phynon's mind on destroying memories. I guess because he has Amphorius, we would want to keep remembering that. Yeah, so destroying remembrance, be like this, destroying like the memories. I know. There's one other trailer that dropped, so let's take a look at that. There's like, this is the there's not as much here to unpack, but this is the version trailer. So that's half of this is like related to the Fate collab. Unfortunately, it kind of feels like the next patch might have less story than usual because of the Fate collab. I'm hoping that's not the case, but like, whatever, we'll just watch it and talk about it.
神々よ、ご覧ください。オンパロスは勝利を収め、再創期が間もなく訪れます。
I will say, I like Lycus's English voice a lot more than this dub. This dub, he does not sound nearly evil enough. And then, like, Lycus, English Lycus sounds like so smug and evil. Japanese Lycus just kind of sounds like... He sounds much more plausible as to be just like a dude.
しかし、本当にそうでしょうか。
最近、エルシオンの景色が。
Okay, so of course we know Finon, in order to reset the world, he has to go through a trial, the trial of Kethely. It seems that whatever this trial... Oh, thank you for subscribing. Who was that? Oh, my stream elements is broken, so I can't tell who it is. Thank you for subscribing, whoever that was. Anyways, so it seems like the next location will be Aedes Elysia. Presumably this is like inside the trial. This is basically we're flashing back to Finon's childhood.
最後の一人になったとしても再創生の偉業を成し遂げてください。
新世界は必ず訪れる。黎明を灯す。星々を燃やし尽くす。諸行をもたらそう。
Okay. Yeah, this is 720 PU. Okay, so I have to point some things out. We've known about Finon's animations, his transformation. He's been leaked like ages ago, but basically, like, from the moment we knew what he looked like in his like ascended state, it was like, okay, yeah, this guy is definitely the Lord Ravager. He is definitely on the like destruction path. White hair, you can't really see here, but basically we know he's got white hair, gold eyes, gold blood. He's literally like baby Nanook. He's like Nanook's favorite child. He looks like a smaller version of Nanook, other than like he has pale skin instead of like. Also worth noting, white hair, gold eyes is also what Phantalia looked like in her third phase of the boss fight, so like that may also just be like a recurring feature of all the Lord Ravagers of Nanook. They'll have like a form where they have like gold hair and their white hair and gold eyes. Although like several of them don't have hair or eyes, so I don't know how this is gonna work for them. So, well, hi Sonata. Gilgamesh? No, Gilgamesh is my day, Sonata. Hang on, I'll show you Gilgamesh. This is Star Rail again, Gilgamesh, Sonata. This is Gilgamesh. Speaking of Fate collab right here. Wait, doesn't the Trailblazer have white hair? No, we have gray hair. We're gray. Like, I'm not that into Fate anymore, but I will note, like, I do believe, like, this is a pretty significant thing because I do believe this is, like, the first Fate collab with another first crossover event Fate's ever had with another franchise. Because I know for, like, years and years and years, I believe, like, the creator of the franchise had a rule of no crossover, no collabs with other games or settings, and like for him to break that rule with Star Rail, like, that's pretty cool. Is it actually going to be a story worth to why the Fate card? Well, it seems like there's some kind of story. I mean, it does seem there's like a story of that. It's like first ever Penaconian Holy Grail War. Let the dreams again. We still don't, because the thing is, like, Penacony is a place of dreams, right? So it may be they're going with, like, this is all just, you know, a game, this is a dream angle, as opposed to being something like, oh, we actually summon the characters here, like, our settings are actually connected. No, or instead of just, oh yeah, we just happen to have this one dream where the characters look exactly like the ones from this one franchise. What you know about Fate is the Holy Grail is actually a bad thing? Depends. In the original Fate Stay Night, yes, that Holy Grail is bad because it's been corrupted. There are other Holy Grails which are... Most Holy Grails are perfectly fine. Most Holy Grails are great. But it's specifically... in Fate, it's specifically like that the original Fate series, that Holy Grail was corrupted by things that happened. I want to say the war prior. Oh, no, it was even older. It was corrupted for a while. But yeah, it was corrupted. Hello, Kane. More fake when? Huh? That's another what? Oh, anyways. We're getting out of the collab back to the main event. Also, wait. Is that freaking... Was that freaking Lancer? It's fucking Lancer. They have him here as an NPC. What? You didn't even fucking advertise him. I've watched this already. I didn't even fucking notice him. That's definitely fucking Lancer over there. My boy, he got shafted. Holy shit. He's in the collab, but he's not a playable character. He doesn't even get an advertisement. He's just there. Oh, fake strange fake. It was an April Fool. That's a real thing. If I made the story of the crossover that someone who runs the gyms, the fan of Fates, they made a fate chain. I mean, the first Honkai Genshin crossover was literally like this. The Genshin stuff was, this is a game in our universe, so like I could see it going either way, really. Okay, so anyways, here back to Amphorius. It seems like Finon decapitated Legus. Finon has had enough of Legus' shit. Flame Reaver shows up. Oh, we knock off Flame Reaver's mask. Presumably, we see his real form. And I know lots of speculation that Flame Reaver is Finon. I don't know that Flame Reaver is I think Finon is definitely connected to the Flame Reaver. I don't know if it's because like if Flame Reaver is like a corrupted copy of Finon, or maybe like our Finon is the real Finon and Flame Reaver is like the simulated Finon, or vice versa. Our Finon is simulated Finon and Flame Reaver is original Finon. I do think like having two, because we now know that Finon is a Lord Ravager. I do feel like having two secret identities is a bit much, so I think, I don't know, I'm less confident than before that like Flame Reaver is like Finon from the past or future. I'm less confident than I was, like it's still definitely possible. Oh right, there's Lancer. It's a better shot of him. I seriously didn't even notice this first time. I don't know whose star this is. Is this someone significant? Like, did we just die? Oh, this is a so this is... like, Finon is killing... like, stabbing someone here. It does... okay, it does... this is probably Flame Reaver. It does look like Flame Reaver is another Finon. Like, it kind of looks like... can't really make out too much here, but this kind of looks like what burned the bear. I mean, the weight of the world. Presume, like, dude's literally carrying the. He is the world bear. He is carrying the whole ass fucking planet. And this is the part where Amphorius is... okay, so this number thing, I'm assuming this, we can only get a flash of this, but this is presumably the number of cycles Amphorius has been through. That's what, like, come on. So 210436, let me write this down. I want to do some math, a little bit of math. And the last numbers lock into place. (8-2). The last two numbers are 8-2. So that is 210,443,682 cycles. Each cycle lasts what, like a few thousand years? At least a few thousand years, because they've been around for a few thousand years. Just on the flame chase itself has lasted like 1,000 years. So that's like a minimum. So at minimum, they've been doing this for 200 billion years, basically. And Fidon's been doing this for 200 billion years. You think Fidon will absorb the Flame Reaver to become his complete form? I think that might be what's happening. So, here's my thinking. I think Fidon is meant to fail. Fidon needs to fail in order to keep the cycle going. The purpose of the Flame Reaver is like a failsafe built into the system to make sure the flame chase journey fails every single time. And that's why it's like so stupidly powerful. And this time, because of our interference, is the one time that Fidon is able to actually succeed, kill Flame Reaver, reclaim all the core flames, and that's when he unlocks his true power. Yeah, he succeeds because, yeah, well, I mean, what's different about the cycle, where we are making the difference. Every other time, he's meant to fail, but because we're there, we're interfering with the simulation. Like, circle, gold blood dripping down. He's got tears in his, like, just like the NUKE, he's got freaking tears in his body showing like golden stuff within. He's literally just like, he's like the NUKE's favorite baby. I think maybe this is why the NUKE called everybody to come see him being released from Amphorius. He's like, come on, my children, this is my favorite child. You know, everybody come look at him. I love all of you, but he is my favorite. I'm kidding. Obviously, the NUKE has no concept of love. But I feel like that thing to be funny. If that was going on. Do you think the core flames are representations of his Ravager powers that have been split apart? could be. I think it's a little more... It could be that the core flames are his authority that has been split into 12 pieces. The caveat I have with that is that, I think there's a 13th core flame that has not been revealed yet, and I imagine that is going to be of some significance. Simon's comment reviewed his skills are known for him to be calling up powers of the Titans. Did Albert say that? I thought it was pretty... Cause like, it didn't really seem like to me he was doing any much other than just like, hitting... He calls down meteors and then he like smacks people with his giant blade. And like he drops a planet on them. Like I don't really know... If that's him calling upon the powers of his Titans, like he could stand to be a little more creative. Who is Albert? I'll show you. No, I don't think there's anything important here right now. Okay.
Once dreamed.
Cole. This guy in the corner, this is Albert. This is Albert. He is the guy who does the talk shows introducing the new patch and explaining the mechanics. Nothing important. We saw an outfit for Violet. Yeah, she dresses up as a schoolgirl. I don't know, but Twitter has already complained about it enough. The funniest tweet I saw regarding Firefly was like, Firefly wanted to go to school, and so the community is giving her the authentic school experience by bullying her for her stupid ass outfit. So like Sephiroth, this guy can call down meteors and smack people with his blade, throw a supernova, and he's almost a copy. Yeah, that was the funniest comment I saw regarding Firefly. So it's very generic. Well, it's a generic schoolgirl outfit, you know, because some people are really into that. Oh, I didn't say anything.
Ordinary and engaged citizen, interested in public affairs.
Then let's hurry and look into this acclaimed hero.
And this one, they show his animations better.
Finan can activate his ultimate as long
if you didn't hear it, call you.
as he
I
has
didn't say
the core
anything.
flames. Take note that if a
I
teammate
don't
uses an
know what
ability on
you're talking
him,
about.
Finan's crit damage will increase for some turns. Now, here's the real show. When Finan unleashes his ultimate, he transforms and deploys a territory, causing all teammates to leave the field and implanting physical weakness in all enemies. After transforming, Finan's own attack and max HP increase and becomes immune to all crowd control debuffs. While transformed, he has 1 enhanced basic attack and 2 enhanced skills, but cannot use...
He's got so much fucking going on, actually. Again, I'm going all out for him. I am going all out for my boy. The leakers did mention that, Alicia slash... Oh my god, what's her face? I'm blanking on her name. Why? I can only think of... Let me see it right now. Cyrene. Yeah, that was... They mentioned, like, Cyrene as, like... Apparently she's even higher budget than Finan, if you can believe it. So I'm looking forward to that.
Finan may take multiple actions at a set speed, all of which are considered extra turns. When Finan transforms and then uses his enhanced basic attack or enhanced skill 1, he can obtain points of a special charge called Scourge. He consumes Scourge to use his enhanced skill 2. All his attacks while transformed restore his HP.
That drops a planet on you.
This boy will have a bright future as long as he receives good guidance.
The new leader of the Crassus Ares needs to have both brains and brawn. Transform Finan uses his enhanced basic attack
I like
to
how
obtain
Albert
Scourge.
has like
He deals physical damage to
zero
one designated enemy
concern
and adjacent
about
targets.
how like
Using his enhanced
evil
skill
Finan
one,
looks here.
Transform Finan obtains the same amount of Scourge as the number of enemies on the field and one stack of
zero
Soul
concern
Scorch,
about it.
while causing all enemies to immediately take action. While possessing Soul Scorch, Finan takes less damage in every enemy action and increases Soul Scorch by 1 stack. When all enemies have taken action, Transform Finan immediately counters to deal 1 instance of physical damage to enemies and some instances of extra damage to 1 random enemy.
That is such a
The more
cool
Soul
freaking
Scorch Finan
shot.
has,
My
the
god.
higher the counter's multiplier. It'll spell Soul Scorch after counter.
Opens the fucking gates of
Enemies wish
hells
to
on
hurt
them.
me, but they end up helping me. Ah! Who now dares to be my enemy? Who now dares to deny me?
Hearing you say that, could you possibly have profound insight into how to destroy the world?
No. Stop talking nonsense. Using his enhanced skill, too.
Lycus is intrigued by Albert's bit of megalomania.
Scourge. Deal some instances of physical damage to 1 random enemy. The more Scourge consumed, the more instances of
Lycus
damage he'll
just
deal.
hears some
When a
guy
set amount of
having
Scourge
like
consumed,
gamer
Transform Finan deals extra
rage
damage distributed
megalomania.
evenly
He's like,
among all enemies.
could you have profound insight into how to
Finan
destroy the
will also
world?
unleash a final blow in his last extra
I want
The
to know
final
your
blow
Tell
is
me your
ultimate
secrets,
damage
funny
evenly
owl man.
distributed among all enemies. After the final blow, Finan ends his transformation and boosts his teammate's speed for 1 turn.
Should he continue to overcome his limits, he'll demonstrate even more endless possibilities on a bigger stage.
After unlocking a certain trace, Finan will obtain some core flames when he enters battle or ends his transformation. After unlocking a different trace, when teammates provide him with healing or shields, Finan's damage increases for some turns. When they provide him with energy regeneration effects via abilities, Finan gains some core flames instead.
So I don't know who I'm gonna run with him
Finan's
yet.
presence in the lineup increases the
Like,
team's
definitely
max technique points.
Sparkle
Finan's
seems to be
technique
good.
Consumes 2 points to attack all enemies
It's
within
like-
a set radius.
Basically,
After
anybody
entering
who can
battle,
use
using his
abilities I'm
technique,
fine on.
Finan gains
So maybe
some
like
Scourge
Sparkle,
while regenerating some
Bronya.
energy and recovering some skill points for his teammates. He also
High
deals physical
scene.
damage to all enemies at the start of every wave. His technique will immediately defeat normal enemies without entering battle. In summary, Finan's core mechanic is to gain enough
also,
core
and his
flames
technique is
ASAP
like-
through various
it's an
means,
upgrade
such
to-
as using his
It's
skill
an
or becoming the
upgrade
ability
to
target of other units
Acheron's.
on the
It's like a
field.
straight upgrade
In
over
order to use
Acheron's.
ultimate
It's
and
like one shot,
transform.
but it's AoE.
Transform Finan
But the only
has many
cost being like
turns
it
and has
uses
one
2
enhanced
technique
basic
points
attack
instead
and
of 1.
2 enhanced skills.
Which I
Using
guess in
teammates' special
simulated
Scourge
universe,
charge points by
where that's
transforming and using
the
his
most
abilities
useful
while
is like that could
transformed.
actually be a big
Consuming
deal
stacked Scourge
because
points allows
there's a
Transform
thing
Finan
that like
to use more powerful abilities
doubles
to
the
deal
cost
more
of
damage
technique
to
points.
enemies.
Then you
He'll
can
launch a
sometimes
terrifying
it's
final
put
hit
on you,
before he ends his
and so that
transformation.
will like you would cost 4 technique points, and like that's a lot.
Walks among us.
Indeed.
Do you think
This
Finan
city
was to
has
be the
faced
Trailblaze's
many
friend after
crises
he
since the Black
awakens? No, I'm fairly certain he's gonna be the final boss of Anthorius. Or maybe not the final. I'm fairly certain we're gonna have to fight him at some point. Because after all, Finan is a Kevin, and being the final boss is what Kevin is famous for. You're on Sunday, Bronya, and probably Tinyu. Oh yeah, we could definitely take Tinyu out of her cryogenic preservation. I don't have Sunday. But Bronya too. Bronya's been in cryogenic preservation for a while.
Overwhelmed Amphorius. We thank heroes like Finan who give their all to eradicate the Black Tide's threats and protect this land. Let's now watch Finan fight on the front lines with his boundless bravery. Blades many core flames, by using his skill, taking out. Watch Finan
Oh wait,
fight on the
let's see what they got.
lines with his boundless bravery and tenacity.
If that Helio is
Finan
essentially
enters
giving us a
battle
boss
via
character
technique
player.
after teams have
I
used
mean,
theirs, dealing
did
the
you
first
see
instance
those
of
fucking
damage to
animations?
all
He
enemies.
looks
A teammate
like
uses
a
their
final
ultimate on
boss.
Finan, and he gains additional core flames. A teammate then uses their skill on Finan, and he again gets core flames. Finan quickly accumulates many core flames by using his skill, taking enemy hits, and becoming the target of his teammates' abilities. Finan takes the chance to use his skill and defeat the first wave of
Like
enemies.
the moment I
It
saw
gets
those
him
leaked
enough
animations, I was
core
like,
flames to use
holy
his
shit, this
ultimate
guy
and
looks like a final boss. He does
Transform
not
Finan
look
obtains
like
Scourge.
a fucking
Faced with
playable
the second
character.
enemy wave, he immediately uses Foundation Star Death Verdict and consumes existing Scourge to deal many instances of damage. Then, Transform Finan uses Creation Bloodthorn Fairy to gain Scourge. At the right time, he uses Foundation Stardust Verdict again to deal a killing blow to the enemies. Seeing this, the enemy sends out a stronger team. Do they try to make an impact? They are mere ants before Transform Finan. Finan uses Calamity's Soul Scorch Edict to gain as many Scourge points as there are enemies on the field and cause all enemy targets to attack him. Then, he immediately counters. The more times Finan is hit, the more Soul Scorch stacks he gains, while his counter damage scales with Soul Scorch.
I wonder how tanky he is.
Consumes all the Scourge he's built up.
Because if like he's intentionally like he taunting the enemies to attack him.
Finan rotates his 2 enhanced skills to rapidly build and consume Scourge, giving the enemy a ruthless beatdown. Just as the enemy is about to go down, Finan enters his last extra turn. The Deliverer unleashes a final blow, and even the strongest enemy gets obliterated in this terrifying impact.
I mean, yeah, he did just like blow up the fucking planet.
What a
So
talented sapling.
You are very engaged. Sorry to disappoint, but this sapling graduated from the Grove ages ago. It's too late to develop him now.
Oh, no. It's not too late.
Sir, what exactly is your job at M4 is?
Albert finally notices something wrong with Lycus.
Scenes work. Just an engaged citizen concerned about the future of the cosmos.
By the way, I want to do this. I want to do this thing like the Star Rail does with the logo. I want to have my logo do that. But I want to do like a cool little animation. Comes at like the end of my videos, which I don't make any, but... Is Fine on the Black Tide? I don't know. I don't think so. Like, the Black Tide, see, it relates to the destruction, so... I assume... I think that's why it's visually represented in his kit, but I don't think Finon is like the Black Tide itself. At least, definitely not in the original version of Amphorius, which presumably, like, before Finon became a Lord Ravager. In the original version of Amphorius, that was presumably something that came from outside. His final attack really... I mean, his final attack has that whole, like, simulation thing. Like, he's turning off this... He blows up the planet and turns off the simulation. Anyways. That's kind of really all I have to talk. It's only kind of really all I had to yap about today. I guess we could play some Star Rail. But I don't really have anything to do in it. Besides, like... Simulated Universe. Did they start a new event? I don't think they did. Let me boot up the game and check. Maybe the original Black Tide was a Stellaron? Maybe? It seems like we're moving past Stellarons as the recurring theme. He was running Simulated Universe during this stream. The whole time? Impressive. That's a long-ass Simulated Universe one. Oh, I didn't log into Star Rail today, Jesus. Okay, you can watch me do my dailies. By do my dailies, I mean like click buttons and autoplay. You wonder how all of this relates to March's condition?
Give an inch.
Oh, oops. Oh, why is the game down here?
Relax. Patience is my middle name.
Okay. There we go.
Don't let me down.
Yeah, so... I mean... So... Obviously, none of the new lore drops really explains anything about March. Specifically, so I'm still going with the theory that March is like... a part of Cyrene. Or like the original... the type... Basically, if you will recall, my theory is essentially that Cyrene/March was the original Titan of origin. The missing 13th Titan that was involved in the creation of Amphorius and all the other Titans. Which is why Orynyx referred to March as its mother. And that March was somehow like the sole survivor of the original Amphorius, got sent away to drift in space forever until we found her. You have to get Marvin fully and gotta... Yeah, I'm assuming after we get the Finon focus patch, we're gonna be on like the second half of the story. We're gonna be on... Like after this patch, I think we're gonna be on Act 3, which is like where all the real stuff starts going down. Not the sole survivor, financial... Honestly, he's like a prisoner, so like, I guess technically he is the survivor. He could...
There's no backing now for me or you.
I don't think Phylon's like March's type. I'm gonna be real.
Nothing but a fault.
Also, like, heterosexual relationships aren't allowed to exist in a Hellier game. Oh, actually, like, between their powers combined, they might just be able to like make a new fucking planet. Like, who fucking knows? Does March have a type? Someone who can put up with her. If your powers combine, they might be able to make a heterosexual... No, that's not what I was going to say, Tommy. Like, who knows? Maybe we'll have a happy ending. No, but not knowing how you'll probably not. Oh, let's see what else is going on. Also, sorry for just memeing the whole time. This stuff goes over your head even when you're not type. That's okay, Tommy. I know it goes over your head. I don't know. Seems like they want us to use a DOT team. I guess we can learn around the DOT team. Feel bad because like obviously a lot of effort is put into writing and world building and just told me to make your eyes glaze over because the scale of everything is just so absurd. Tommy's small brain cannot comprehend big thoughts. Or cannot fit big thoughts. Oops. Oh, it's okay. It's just the first wave.
Destiny isn't chosen. Ill fate is dead. What do you want to know? Ill tidings manifest.
Again, Tommy wins sci-fi. Tommy, you can't say that you like sci-fi and then you also hate absurd scale. You know, like, I'm sorry that the universe is actually, like, really big. Like, so, and, like, what do you expect? Sci-fi settings don't have to have dozens of demigods and reality benders. No, but they have to operate anything that happens on like the scale of a galaxy or a universe is going to be absurd in scale. Is it more the power? Oh god, people are strong. Oh wow. They're not just like punching each other and shooting normal guns. Oh no. Like, do you object to the Death Star? Like, do you get offended?
It's time to say bye. Boom.
Memories are beneath the water, lies an endless abyss.
Good times. Time to say bye. Boom.
Oh, I just realized this is one of these point events. I'm not paying that much attention.
Things human creations. Eternal. Gather as one.
Say bye to breathing.
Destiny isn't chosen.
Honestly, with simulated universe, the Divergent universe weekly runs, I kind of just autopilot through the whole thing, usually.
May as well kill 'em all. Good times. Time to say bye.
The Death Star is kind of absurd if you need to think about it though. You need literally millions of people running. I'm pretty sure it's only like 1,000. If Death Star crew, it's only like 10,000 or something, 60,000 or something. Oh, okay. Well, wait, no, I can't just Google answer. Death Star 1, 265,000. Yeah, it's less than 1 million. Not even 1 million. Which is pretty fucking obscene for something the size of a small moon.
Some value, I suppose. Beneath the water lies an endless abyss.
And you can beat it with a well-played squadron if it's really just like become. Oh, okay. So it's okay. So your threshold for too big in scale is like not enough like Ace Combat. Got it, Ty. You ever mix enemies from different worlds and oh yeah, they do that all the time. Or actually wait, no. I'm not actually sure they do. Honestly, I don't really pay too much attention to what I'm fighting in simulated universe anymore. Oh.
Say bye to breathing.
Like I'm at the point where I only really have to like pay attention in simulated universe when I'm like doing the high level like max difficulty settings. Other than that, it's like it's very it's hard to lose even with this old ass team, frankly. You can actually see the effort and resources and time that go into acquiring a sufficiently powerful weapon or tool. That's just one thing. Okay, but... Okay, but... Tommy, like... all these characters went through, like, unbelievable amounts of effort and trauma to get their... power, like... most of them like had to watch their planets burn while desperately trying to fight to keep it alive, but failed. And they're just like, now they're like, they're strong because they're the only survivors of an event that wiped out everyone else on their planet. And that now, like, so like, yeah, if they weren't strong, they would all just be dead. Like, none of these people were just born that strong, Tommy. None of them. Like, all the Lord Ravagers, except for I mean, we don't know anything about Luxbane or Archers, but all the ones we know the history of, like, they went through incredible trauma and, like, were corrupted after, like, getting it in order to get their powers. Yeah, you think problem comments that we need a lot of characters posted. When in the original Star Wars, we don't see the Death Star being constructed. It just shows up, fully built. Like, it does in the original Star Wars movie. Does the fact that it doesn't focus on the creation of the Death Star make the Death Star cheap? Like like it wasn't until a few years ago we finally get fucking like Rogue One and Andor and see all the story behind the creation of the first Death Star. Before that, it was always just, oh, there's the Death Star. It just appeared. Like these, like, you have to presume these things, Tom. Like, you're supposed to imagine the story in your head of how this thing got there. And I feel like if you can imagine that for the Death Star, but you can't imagine it for a character, that's genuinely just a skill issue. Like, all of these characters have a backstory, they have history, they went through trials and tribulations and incredible effort to get how strong as they are. Like, if you're saying that you can't relate to it, if you can't enjoy like a strong character unless you get like a big ass flashback explaining their whole backstory, then genuinely a skill issue. Team consists of yeah, this is the only one that does anything for me. Does Star Rail have character art quests? Sort of. Like sometimes. Not recently though. I think there's like too much going on in N4 really to have them. Also because like everyone's dead. Probably mostly because everyone's dead. / keeps dying. Yeah, it's been a while. I think they're probably like too. I mean, a lot of the story quests leave off in places where like it wouldn't really be appropriate to have like a side quest, because they're often leading on like cliffhangers.
Every petal all will be swept away by the wind.
Good times. Time to say bye.
Man, good old Kafka Black Swan still tearing it up, at least in Simulated Universe.
Stand still.
I don't know what the fuck the community's complaining about, how like DOT sucks. Genuinely, I have no idea what the community's complaining about. DOT seems perfectly fine to me. Oh, there's a mix. Oh yeah, you're right, there is a mix. I like this one, but I don't like the way Star Rail like wants that. Star Rail basic, a lot of like things in Star Rail seem to assume that whoever's in your first slot is your like main DPS. And I like to put my main DPS in the second slot. It's just a habit of mine. The Simulated Universe is kind of wild if you think about it. I mean, it's a wild thing in universe. Like, in universe. Like, they're simulating an entire fucking universe to learn more about gods. It's a pretty big deal.
Good times. Time to say bye.
DOT definitely gonna feel nicer with the Kafka buffs. But like, does Kafka need buffs? Like, look at this.
Good times. Time to say bye.
Like, this is the I know this is Simulated Universe, so I was like, yeah, they're buffed. But this is also like the super strong, extra hard, optional fight that I didn't have to take. And we just annihilated them. Like, I know she's not casterized, she's not gonna be fine on, she's not gonna be hurt off. She's not just gonna like evaporate everything in front of her, but I feel like she still does fine. At least my Kafka does. You switch Star Rail, you have more time to probably connect the characters. You get like 6 hours of story quest per patch. Is that not enough? Or do you mean like connecting with characters, like you need to have like a quest where you like sit down and have tea with them or something? Like you feel like you can't connect with someone unless you're having tea with them. Outside of places like MOC, Apocalypse, Shadow, and Pure Fiction. Well, yeah, I don't think you can like take on the... I don't know if this team will be able to like beat the highest tier. I think Memory of Chaos, it might still be viable. Apocalyptic... Actually, I think I used... I feel like I used Kafka in Apocalyptic Shadow semi-recently. And like, she's still cleared. Like, it wasn't like a great school. Like, she's not top tier meta, but I feel like it does. Pure Fiction, obviously, Pure Fiction requires like very specialized teams, and like, until very recently, like, Pure Fiction's always been a struggle for... I'm sort I am stupid. Oh, I should have went to this store before I went to the store that makes everything else. Oh, it doesn't work. Oh, okay, fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It only applies to curious. Alright, let's swap. Maybe this is why I always put my main DPS in the second slot, because the second slot is the biggest on the screen. It feels like it's meant to be the most important. You may like the quest in Genshin or Zoneless, but that's kind of like what the quests in Genshin... I mean, I haven't played Genshin, but like, a lot of the character quests in Genshin involve you sitting down with the character for a meal. Like, it happens in a lot of them. Not all of them, but very often. Is there gonna be any negative consequences for this? No? Okay. Anyways, but like, anyways, I feel like the game is not as bad balance-wise as people make it out to be. In general. Like, there's definitely power creep is definitely a major problem. I'm not gonna deny that.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as bad as people make it out to be, though. Ooh. Oh, I forgot to refresh Fushan's thing before going in here. Oops. I still remember when Simulated Universe first released, like, fucking Kafka was like the only way I could do anything. She was the only one who could carry anything, because the only way to do fucking anything back in those days was to stack suspicion stacks and do DOT. Like, nothing else worked. It was actually insane. So like, I still have a soft spot for my Kafka team.
Time to say bye. Boom. Time to say bye.
Is the combination mostly larger than life characters and you don't really get to interact with them? Again, I don't know what you mean by you don't get to interact with them personally. You interact with a lot of them. Very personally. Like, why do story quests not count as character interaction? I don't understand. Like, what's the logic here? Like, people are complaining the story quests are too fucking long. And also, you complain when the characters talk too much. Like, oh my god, so much dialogue, so much reading. Oh my god, there's too much character interaction. Like, what the fuck? Getting every little last scrap before a final one comes out. What do you mean they're too long? It's too much reading, Cole. It's not just Tommy, a lot of people complain there's too much dialogue, too much reading. We need to skip dialogue, add a skip dialogue, which they actually are. They have a skip dialogue button. They're adding in the next patch. We need to skip dialogue. We don't want to read. See, the main story quest and more general story is getting but there's also big overarching plot going on that takes priority. Yeah, but why does that not count as character interaction? It's like unless the point of the quest is the character, you don't feel like you're interacting with them. What? Like, you realize like the story quests invariably have parts where like the focus is on one particular character's shine. Like the last Star Rail quest was like the entire back half was devoted to Hycene. Like it was like front half is Cypher, second half Hycene, and then third half is the third act is like everything falls apart, and we're back to Phylon. Like they very specifically design these quests so like what to focus on one character at a time. That's how they write these games. They all because like when you're a gacha writer, you want to sell the character, you want to make people love the character, you give every character a chance to be in the spotlight. And probably I would guess the reason why they don't feel the need to give these character quests, besides the fact of all they're all fucking dead after the last one, but besides that, I feel they probably feel like they got enough time in the spotlight during the story quest. We learned Hycene and Cypher's entire sad backstories. In Hycene's case, we learned her entire sad backstory as she was learning her own sad backstory. Like we were there with her when she was learning about her sad backstory. How long the Tenakuni San's gonna be there? Here? Forever? We're on Tenakuni. Anyways. Thank you all for tuning in today. I do appreciate when people tune in for one of these yapping streams as opposed to the usual gaming streams. Friday, hasn't decided quite yet, but hope to be collabing something with Sonata, so thank you all for tuning in. And I hope to see you all again on Friday. Also, probably no Saturday stream this week because I'll be moving. Maybe there's a chance. But anyways, thank you all for tuning in. Have a wonderful rest of your week.